All right, everybody. Welcome back to Gonzo, Mike, and a VCR. I'm Gonzo.
Mike.
And as usual, we're going to discuss some of the best and maybe some of the worst movies from the 80s, 90s, and beyond. So we're going to give you our take on them. We'll make a recommendation. And we're also going to do a rating here at the end. So this is a big one, Mike. This is the second time that we have a super fan on this on one of our episodes. We're talking about, like we said last time, Back to the Future, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But our super fan is Kristen, so I'm going to ask Kristen to introduce herself and tell us how you became a super fan of Back to the Future. What do you got?
Hi, I'm Kristen. I really don't have a good answer for this. The movie is as old as I am, so I don't have any memories of originally seeing the movie. However, I've seen it so many times over the years. I think it's grown on me so much that it's just one of my favorite classic movies.
Are you a big Michael J. Fox fan, or?
I mean, I've seen some of the other things he's been in and enjoyed them, but Back to the Future really stands out to me as my favorite of his works.
Yeah, what was that TV show, Mike, that he was on? What was it called?
Oh yeah, that was like a super Thursday night on NBC,
What,
and it was Family Ties was the
Family
show.
Ties. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. All right. All right. So, well, we're glad you're here with us today, Kristen. Like we said, we're going to get started here. Is everyone's cell phone silenced?
it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Roger that. So, in this episode, we're looking at the 1985 science fiction comedy produced by Steven Spielberg, which I didn't really know, and directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Michael J. Fox. It's Back to the Future. Now, this film did pretty well. It grossed 398.2 million at the box office against a budget of only 19 million. So that's pretty good. That's one of our better ones, Mike, that we've reviewed here.
Oh yeah.
So in general, it was reviewed favorably by critics, some of whom compared it favorably to the 1946 fantasy drama It's a Wonderful Life. Do you get that? What do you think about that, Mike or Kristen?
Yeah, I can see that because it's sort of like seeing what you've actually contributed to life. What effect have you had? What would things be like if you weren't around? So I can definitely see that connection.
What do you think, Kristen? Have you seen It's a Wonderful Life?
Yes, and I enjoy it, and every time I watch it, I don't realize how long it actually is. And my favorite parts are towards the end when he does kind of see what the world would be like without him. So I can see the comparison that's made there, and they're both good movies.
I think the comparison has to do a little bit. I was reading a little bit with like he improves his life, right? Like
Mhm.
I think in It's a Wonderful Life, he appreciates everything much more at the end, and then everyone comes and like helps him out, right? And in this one, like he sees like, wow, like look, I fixed everything. So
Yeah.
because things are better. So um this was nominated for 4 Golden Globe Awards: Best Motion Picture, Music or Comedy, Best Actor, Music or Comedy. That was, of course, for Michael J. Fox. A Best Original Song. This is Huey Lewis, The Power of Love, and Best Screenplay. Now, it won the Academy Award for Best Sound Effects Editing, and it was nominated for 3 other Academy Awards. So it did win that one, but the others were Original Screenplay, Best Sound, and Best Original Song again. So that song got a lot of mileage there for him. This was named the favorite motion picture at the 12th People's Choice Awards and 92 on Rotten Tomatoes. I know Kristen's a super fan. She probably thinks it should be 100,
Oh yeah.
but it's 92. That's what I got. So what we're going to do, I know this is Kristen's movie, but she's a guest, so we're not going to make her do all the work. We're going to, for those who haven't seen it or those who um, haven't seen it for a long time, we're going to have Mike give us the plot and tell us what this movie's about for those who don't remember.
Sure. So there's a lot going on here. So I'm going to be talking fast, moving through it. In a nutshell, it's a movie about a teenager accidentally traveling back to the year 1955 in a DeLorean that's been modified into a time machine by his friend, who's an elderly, disgraced nuclear physicist. He accidentally interferes with the initial meeting of his mother and father, which of course led him to spend the rest of the movie two goals: getting his mom and dad, who are teenagers like Marty, to get together and hit it off, and then figure out how to fix the time machine and get back to his life in 1985. So, as I mentioned a second ago, Marty McFly, that's the hero of the story, played by Michael J. Fox, is an 1980s high schooler. We see him skateboarding to school at the beginning. We see he has an unhappy family dynamic. We meet his father, George McFly, played by Kristen Glover, mother Lorraine, played by Leah Thompson, and then Marty's brother and sister. So it's a whole dysfunctional family. Marty's dad is a shell of a man. He is under the thumb of this guy, big guy, Biff Tannen, played by Thomas F. Wilson. Marty's mom's an alcoholic. The siblings don't have anything going on. We're introduced to Marty's best friend, Doc Brown, that inventor, played by Christopher Lloyd. We also meet Marty's girlfriend, Jennifer Parker, played by Claudia Wells early on. We don't see her again until toward the end of the movie. I'll skip over some things here in the interest of time, but Marty meets Doc late at Twin Pines Mall early in the movie, who shows him a DeLorean time machine. We see Libyan terrorists who come down the hill as they're trying to make things happen. That's who Doc stole the plutonium from to make the time machine work. Doc gets shot, and we figure, okay, he actually got killed. Marty escapes in the DeLorean, accidentally travels back to 1955. The DeLorean has run out of plutonium back in 55, leaving Marty stranded. So Marty goes to look up young Doc Brown, 55, finally convinces him that, yeah, I'm from the future and we know each other in the future. Marty interferes with his parents' first meeting. He saves his dad from being hit by a car, but then things play out for him in a way that originally had played out for his dad before Marty intervened. So George McFly fails to save Lorraine Baines. That's her maiden name at the time. So Lorraine actually becomes attracted to Marty, who is her future son instead. Marty realizes he's erasing himself from existence along with his brother and sister. So Marty and Doc know that they have to get a plan to reunite George and Lorraine. Throughout all of this happening, we see young Biff Tannen, the bully, the school bully, intimidating George McFly, sexually harassing, and later essentially assaulting Marty's mom. Marty coaches George on confidence throughout the movie, trying to get them back together, while Doc is planning a lightning strike at a clock tower as a way to power the DeLorean. And Marty knew about the lightning strike because he came from the future. So at the school dance on the same night of the storm that they need this lightning strike, George is supposed to punch Marty, who's going to come on strong to Lorraine, who is his mother. Unfortunately, his mother is really turned on by him. Luckily, if you want to say, Biff the bully comes along, and Biff and his bullies pull Marty out of the car, stuff him in the trunk of another car, and the plan nearly collapses. So Biff jumps into the car, then forcing himself on Lorraine. George finally stands up to Biff. So the future father stands up to Biff, knocks him out. George and Lorraine kiss. The timeline looks like it's going to be restored. Marty plays the guitar at the dance because one of the band members that rescued him and beat up Biff's buddies, hurt his hand while throwing a punch. So Marty sits in, played Johnny B. Good and some heavy metal, neither of which, of course, had come out yet. Marty begins fading from a photo while he's on stage, but eventually recovers as George McFly, his future dad, gains more and more confidence, stands up for himself again, walking up to a guy who had taken Lorraine away from him at the dance and cuts back in. Outside, we got the stormy night. Doc's rigging the cables from the clock tower. Marty races the DeLorean toward the clock tower for the lightning strike. He hits the required speed of 88 miles an hour as the lightning hits and returns to 1985. But Marty's done a few things in the past that have now affected the future. Doc has now survived the shooting by the Libyan terrorists because he had stuffed a letter, which the Doc later tore up, but later put back together and read. He wakes up in the morning to an improved family because of the ripple effects of his influence on his father in 1955. Everything's different. His family has money, good jobs, nice looking, fit. His father's a science fiction writer. His mom's not an alcoholic. Brother and sister successful. And now Biff, who was the school bully, is now Marty McFly's lackey, and he's out front taking care of their cars. Doc returns at the very end of the movie in the DeLorean, which is now a flying car, tells Marty and his girlfriend that they need to travel to the future with him because they need to attend to something involving their future children. Last thing we see, DeLorean flies off with Doc Brown, Marty, and Marty's girlfriend. And that is it.
Wow.
Kristen, what have I missed?
I think there was one or two data points that were a little bit skewed, but that's fine.
Sure.
Overall, that's pretty much the synopsis. Covers all the major points.
All right. All right. I apologize for coughing a few times in there, Mike. You know what? Didn't mean
Sure.
to interrupt you, but got a little cold. But this is our super fan episode, and we scheduled this a long time out, so the show must go on.
That's
So,
right.
so all right.
Power through.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good job on the plot, Mike. That's a lot of stuff to
There's a
digest.
lot going on.
So, obviously, Kristen had seen this. She's a super fan. But Mike, when did you first see this movie? I know we all watched the movie to prep for the podcast, but
Sure.
when do you remember when you first saw this?
It was definitely back in the 80s. It couldn't have been too long after it came out. Uh, I don't think I saw this in the theater. This is probably one of those video nights where we rented a VHS tape and checked it out.
And what'd you think about it when you first saw it? Do you remember that?
Uh, I'll tell you, I know that I liked it right off the top because it combined two of my favorite decades. And of course, we're all partial to the decades we grew up in. So I look at it now, but even back then, you had Huey Lewis in the news, you had 50s music. So I love the 1950s and 1980s. So I love that. I love the concept of going back getting more to know more about what your parents were like back in the day. I love, as we've talked about before, I love how one small decision can totally change the course of your life. And last thing I was thinking about, it was also a movie I could have watched with my parents. I don't know if I did watch this, but my parents grew up in the 1950s. So this is something that we could have connected on.
Okay, okay. And Kristen, do you remember when you first saw it?
I don't. I have no clue when I first saw this movie. It's one that frequently just plays on TV. So over the years, I've always caught it at some
Okay,
point. You know, as always, you catch a movie on TV and it's like already in the middle. Um, so when I watched it last night, I realized that the first part when he comes into Doc's lab and all the clocks are there, like that is a part that I have seen the least because I rarely catch the movie at the beginning.
okay, okay.
Um, I love it. Something you said, Mike, about being able to kind of go back and see what your parents were like. I've also had those kind of similar thoughts. I would be really interested to see what my parents were like back in high school. Um, there was a cartoon that I saw when I was younger where a girl kind of traveled back and got to see her parents. So since probably that cartoon, I've been intrigued by that idea. I think this movie is hilarious. Just the reactions of all the actors, I think they're fantastic and how they react to each other. It just phrases they throw out and facial expressions they make. It keeps me laughing the whole way through.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So yeah, I'm not sure if I saw this in the theater or not. I could have, but definitely seen it several times over the years. And like Kristen, not always all the way through. Because if it just comes on in the middle or something, you might watch it. So I remember liking it because it's entertaining, but it is very corny in certain parts. So I'm just going to say that to anybody maybe who hasn't seen it. So, but
Steve does not like corn.
it is entertaining. So we'll talk about the main characters here, and just how you think they did, and was it the right person, right? So Marty McFly, that's our number one character, Michael J. Fox. How do you think he did there, Mike?
Yeah. I liked him in the role. As you and probably Kristen already know, Eric Stoltz was originally cast in the role of Marty McFly. I have always liked Michael J. Fox, but I've never been a super fan. I've enjoyed the things he was in, but he was never like, hey, Michael J. Fox is in it. I got to see that. Um, but in terms of a character, I think they presented Marty as much cooler than his parents. And I started thinking about kind of how, we grow up in families, and sometimes you see a reaction to who we become or who your siblings become as a reaction to who your parents are as adults, because sometimes kids rebel against who their parents are or what they believe in. So I kind of looked at Marty's family and said, yeah, Marty's kind of distanced himself from growing up to be like George McFly, for instance.
Okay, okay. So, what about now? This guy, the guy you're talking about, he's the guy who was in Some Kind of Wonderful, right?
Yep, Eric Stoltz and
Yep.
Pulp Fiction, and
Okay.
even The Wildlife with
Oh,
Christopher Penn, Sean's brother.
oh, okay. Oh, that's the one that you like with the wrestler?
Yeah, that
Okay.
nobody's seen,
That
and it's like
nobody's
a
seen.
follow-on to Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Yeah.
All right. I'm scared to ask Kristen what she thinks about Michael J. Fox as the main character because I'm sure she's gonna say he's great. So how did he do, Kristen?
So I've always thought he was great in the role. But as I had told you guys previously, I started reading, I don't know if you can see this. So, Future Boy. It's a book that
Yeah.
just came out, for the 40th anniversary, and it's all about filming this movie. So just to take a moment to give a little bit of trivia here, Eric Stoltz did about 6 weeks of filming before they replaced him. And what I learned by reading this book is that they originally wanted Michael J. Fox for the role,
Oh,
but because he
wow.
was filming Family Ties, he wasn't allowed. So reluctantly, they went in and they cast Eric Stoltz, and they just weren't getting the feel that they wanted. So they went back and convinced the studio to reshoot everything they had shot for the last 6 weeks. And he filmed this movie at night while filming Family Ties during the day. And in reading it, I don't even think he really had time to think about how he wanted to play the role. He would read his script in the car. He was driven from Family Ties to Back to the Future set to film, and he just jumped right in. So after reading the book, I became even more kind of impressed by how he was able to make a role so funny and just make the movie so funny with really little prep or thought into how he envisioned the role to begin with.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah. I think he plays it well. But again, um, and I think I'm just going to chime in here as well because I feel like this is his career: Family Ties and Back to the Future. Am I
Mhm.
wrong? Is there some other big movie that he just blew it out of the water with, or is this basically it for him? I mean, I'm
I don't
sure
know.
there's. Go ahead.
I don't know that there was another movie that ever reached the levels of this.
Oh, yeah.
He was in Spin City in what, the 90s, I
Hmm.
think. So I know that that had quite an audience. It
I-
wasn't,
Is that a TV show?
yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a TV guy. So
Yeah. Charlie Sheen later replaced him in the role, but I know the one you're talking about, Kristen. Yeah.
Mhm.
okay, so yeah, he plays this role well, but again, Michael, I'm going back to my believable hero complex. This guy's a
Hmm.
hero. He punches Biff in the little diner or the malt shop or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Listen, like I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. I don't
Hmm.
believe he could be that. I don't like Ralph Macchio as the Karate Kid because he would get killed by Johnny in the finals. I don't like what's the guy's name? Elijah something as Frodo in Lord of the
Oh,
Rings.
yeah. I know who you're talking
He,
about. Elijah Wood.
yeah, he's just not tough. Like and Michael J. Fox as being able to punch Biff out and being the cool guy. I don't know. He was sort of like the nerd geeky guy with the pen, the pocket protector in
Hmm.
Family Ties, right? I feel like that's him for me. So I don't know that I like this. I don't know who else I would have put in here. It wouldn't have been what's the guy's name, Eric Stoltz. It wouldn't have been him either. I don't know. So I know I'm Kristen's getting upset at me right now, but that's what it is. But Family Ties, yeah, I didn't know he was doing it at the same time. So, but he does well at it. It maybe because of the lack of time that he had to prepare. Kristen, I feel like maybe he's playing more close to himself almost. Maybe this is what he's like in real life, sort of. I'm not sure.
And he's
So,
much more believable as a teenager than Eric Stoltz would be because at that time, Eric Stoltz, I saw a clip of Eric Stoltz in the role short clip, and I'm like, he looks too old. He looks like he's in his early to mid 20s.
Okay. Okay. All right. So okay. There's Marty. So we're gonna talk about Emmett Doc Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd. How did you like him in this role, Kristen?
I loved him. He's hilarious. He's just so kinetic and he moves in such a way that's hilarious. The way he reacts to everyone around him. I thoroughly enjoyed his take on the role.
Yeah, yeah, he's great. Mike, what do you think? And this is the guy from Taxi who played Jim, right?
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I think he's believable as a stereotypical kind of nutty professor in this. He's likable. It is a departure from, like you mentioned, the burnout Reverend Jim that Christopher Lloyd played back in 1970s Taxi. Uh, and did I miss it? I have to mention this because this is the thing that kind of hangs out. And we know with any movie, we've got suspension of disbelief, even if it's with my very favorite movies. Did they ever get into how the two of them knew each other? Just because he's definitely an incredibly brilliant scientist, and then this teenage kid. But I don't know if they ever got into kind of how they knew each other. Or
I don't think they explained it. I don't think they explained it. So,
No,
um,
they don't.
okay.
okay,
Yeah, he does a great job here. This movie is not the movie without him. If you
Mhm.
take him out, I'm done with it, right? He does such a good job here. Yeah, he was great in Taxi. We saw him in Mr. Mom in that small role.
That's right. One of
Um,
the co-workers.
yeah, but I don't know much else that he's done, but he does a great job. I mean, he makes the movie for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to the next person, and I'm sure Doc is going to come up more as we talk about different parts of the movie. But Jennifer Parker, this is Marty's girlfriend, played by Claudia Wells. I included this person. She's not a main character, but she was. Is she in number two?
No.
It's not. It's a different actress, but she's at the start and she's at the end here. So how do you think she did, Mike?
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kristen, wasn't Elizabeth Shue, didn't she take over her role in number two,
Yeah, I think that's her name. She was in
Karate
Nightmares and
Kid?
Babysitting.
Yeah, yeah. She was Adventures in Babysit. That was an
Yeah,
underrated movie. I thought she was fine. I can't blame the actress that played her, Claudia Wells. Uh, she could have been played by virtually anybody, at least for me, just given how little the role gave her to do. And like we said, they even changed the actress in the second movie. I think they made a mistake at the end of the first one. But of course, they couldn't tell this movie was going to take off. Nobody could. So I think if they could have done the ending differently, they probably wouldn't have put her in the car with Doc and Marty, because then that complicates the plot a little bit for the second one. Then they wouldn't have probably had to replace the girlfriend.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so it was Elizabeth Shue played number two. See, I haven't even seen the whole number two through. Is there? There's three of them, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is Elizabeth Shue in number three too?
Yes.
Okay, man.
I bel- I
Go ahead.
believe they had to replace her because when it came to filming the second movie, she had a conflict, whether it was a family conflict. She just was not available for filming. So they recast her and continued on.
Yeah, that's too bad
Okay,
for her. She could have had a good couple of other movies here, right? So,
sure.
so how do you think she did there? I know it's a small part, Kristen.
Yeah, I prefer her over the replacement Jennifer later on. I can't really articulate why. It was a small role. I thought she did great with what she had. Um, and I preferred her over was it Elizabeth Shue?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I just remember her from the movie she's in. I don't remember her
Oh,
name.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Elizabeth Shue. I remember Elizabeth Shue from she was in Karate Kid, correct? She was in Cocktail with Tom Cruise. That was a good one.
Oh, a good one for
Hmm.
her that was incredible in terms of her acting ability. If either one of you have seen Leaving Las Vegas with Nicolas Cage,
Yeah, you
uh,
brought that up before. You brought that up when we talked about Karate Kid, I think. I have not seen that. So
yeah,
um I think wasn't she in something like The Invisible Man or something with like Val Kilmer or something? I
may
don't
have
know.
been.
I don't know. I'm going crazy here. So all right, small part, well done, I guess. Too bad for her. She could have had two other big movies, right?
Right.
If she could
Uh,
have been available.
I'll give you one other piece of trivia. She wasn't even originally cast as Jennifer when Eric Stoltz was in the role. I'm going to forget her name, but she was in The Office. Um, I forget her name. But there was another actress that was the role,
Huh.
and Eric
Oh,
Stoltz was taller than
I think I
Michael
know.
J. Fox.
Yeah, she played Jan, right? Jan in The
Maybe,
Office. I
maybe.
I think but I cannot think of the actress name.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, but because Michael J. Fox is shorter, they thought it was not believable that this beautiful tall girl would fall for his character, so they recast
Mhm.
Jennifer.
All right. Makes sense. Makes sense. We're going to talk about Lorraine Baines McFly. This is it now? I don't know. Is this Lee Thompson or Leah Thompson? Does anyone know?
Leah?
Leah?
Yeah.
Leah.
All right. How do you think she did? This is Marty's mom, correct? So how do you think she did in this role, Kristen?
I think she did great. I'm going to tell you that for most of them probably because I think you take any one of them out and I don't know what the movie looks like just because I know this movie as is. I I think she, as hard as it probably would be to play a character that's attracted to her son,
Mhm.
I think she did it all right. Um, yeah, I have no notes. I think she did great.
Okay, very good, very good. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah. In terms of favorite characters, I try to get away from, it's easy to say, oh, the main character was my favorite character. So I always look for somebody that I really liked other than the main character. And to me, she was my favorite. I think Leah Thompson killed this role. She was funny. She played basically three different roles, and so did McFly, George McFly. But I mean, she was funny playing the alcoholic mom at the beginning. She was the undercover bad girl in the 1950s. And then toward the end there, she was the successful lady in the end. I like Leah Thompson. Uh, Other roles I can think of off the top of my head, one of the most underrated Tom Cruise movies, All the Right Moves. She played his girlfriend in that. She played in one of the worst movies ever made, and she was probably the best person in it. But Howard the Duck,
It's
she
terrible,
played.
terrible.
Yeah, I couldn't even watch the whole thing, but I like Leah Thompson, and I think she had some also a show, Caroline, in the city, something like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, talented lady.
Okay, yes. I mean, she does great here. I agree with you both. Just like Lloyd, she makes the movie. I don't. This movie is not the movie. Again, I'm going to say Michael J. Fox. I could take him or leave him, but she makes this movie. She does a great job. She's great acting in all the different roles. I remember her
Mhm.
from Red Dawn.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I forgot
as-
about that.
she was the she was in Some Kind of Wonderful, and like yeah, like you said, All the Right Moves, which is a really a movie we got to talk about. I think we should all those three movies should be on our list. So she does great. Like I just can't say enough about how I like her in this movie. So that takes us to Crispin Glover, George McFly. Mike, is this
Yeah,
guy someone you're well aware of in other stuff or what?
I knew him in a few things. I think he was in, and I'll get it mixed up, but I think he was in one of the Friday the 13th movies.
Oh,
He was in a movie called Willard, which is about him befriending a
Yes.
rat. It's a horror movie
that's
where,
him.
oh, that's
Yeah.
yeah, because there's a movie called Ben,
Oh,
which
Ben
is
is what I'm
also
thinking
about the
about.
same.
Ben's the old one though, right?
Right. And then you got Willard.
Oh,
So Willard's the other rat. I think Crispin is very believable in the role. And the thing I love about Crispin Glover is he always picks these quirky outsider roles. And I think that's sort of part of who he is. He's like the less popular Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp never turned down a bizarre role. And Crispin is like that. Crispin does not want any mainstream roles. And I think this was tailor made for him.
yeah, yeah. Christian, how do you think he did here?
So I what you said earlier, Mike, about you finding one of the not main characters as your favorite,
Yeah.
I think this one is mine, and just because he's so quirky in it,
Hmm.
I love the way he moves. I love
Yeah.
the way that he says things, the expressions on his face when he does it. It's so out of left field.
Yeah,
that it stands out for me.
All right.
definitely.
So yeah, he does decent work here in spots. I think he's way overboard on the submissive wimp thing, especially as an adult. Just too. I know we're supposed to suspend disbelief, but come on, man. If you've got a job and you've got a family, you're like paying a mortgage and owning cars and just like being an adult. You can't be that lame, man. I mean,
Mhm.
it's hard for me. It's hard for me, but some spots he does so well, but it's just tough. I mean, um, this guy, this is the most obscure thing ever. He is the voice of Grendel in Beowulf. Now, if neither of you have seen this movie,
Mhm.
you have to go look it up.
Okay.
Beowulf, Grendel. It is the most insane voice. So he's really a quirky, crazy dude. So,
Hmm.
um, and not related at all to Danny Glover, right? We're just going to mention that there.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know, too wimpy, too submissive for me in most spots, right? So let's move on to Biff. This is played by Thomas F. Wilson. What do you think of the big bully Biff, Kristen?
I mean, he's not my favorite character. He's necessary for the plot. I think he did a great job in that role. Um, I've seen him in other things. At the moment, I probably couldn't tell you what it was, but it's complete departure from the Biff character. And whenever I see him in anything else and he's this really nice, likable person, it kind of jars me a little bit because this is what I'm used to. In all three movies and all the forms of his family tree he plays, it's just like this awful person. So
Yeah, yeah. All
I
right.
think he
So,
did great with what he had, though.
all right. So, Mike, now, Mike, I'm going to tell you before I let you tell me how you think Biff did
Sure.
or Thomas Wilson. I get this guy confused with the bad guy from what is the movie where they have to cut the people's heads off?
Good. Oh, Highlander.
Highlander. This is
Yeah.
not the. This is not him, right?
No, but dude, you nailed that because as soon as you said it, I have never thought that
He's
before, but I can
similar.
absolutely. He's like that guy except stockier build.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just feel like that guy, whoever that is,
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown, is much more famous, I think.
Yeah.
But I there was a point I was like, I think that's him, but it's not him. So, how do you think he
Yeah.
did here?
Oh, dude, I loved him. I thought he was a perfect pick for the high school bully. I was going to give him my lunch money when I saw him. He wasn't funny at all to me, and I don't think he was supposed to be, except when they dumped a load of cow manure on him or whatever. Uh, he straddled a line well because in a comedy, which is what this is essentially, uh, Biff in the outside of this story would have been a pretty disturbing dude. He is forcing himself on women. He's getting violent with anyone he couldn't get away with to get his way, and we know he knows better because he mellowed out in front of the principal. But Biff strikes me as one of those guys that peaked in high school. Like I resent everybody, and I'm going to take advantage of everybody while I have the chance, because my life is going nowhere after this.
Yeah, yeah. At the end, but like at the start,
Yeah,
apparently he's sort of still taking advantage of people, right? But
yeah.
I think he does decent work as a bully. I think it's unbelievable in the end how much of a wimp he is. I looked into this. I don't know any other movies he was in, especially because he's not the guy from Highlander, but he's a stand-up comic. So
Really.
I saw that he had a special on like actually on one of these cable things. So that I didn't know, but
I'll
all
have to
right,
check that out. I'd like to
yeah,
see him do an actual comedy.
yeah. Look it up, look it up. So,
Yeah.
um, favorite part or scene? I'm going to give it to Kristen first, the super fan. What is your favorite part? You can't say the whole movie. You got to pick something.
Mhm.
I think the scene at the mall at the beginning is probably one of my favorites. It sets the stage for everything. You get introduced to Doc, the DeLorean. You get to see their back and forth interactions. So I think when it comes to it, just the comedy in that scene when Marty's filming and the car's coming and he's stepping aside and Doc's just looking at him like get back over here. Their interplay with each other. I think that scene. There's others that I love, but I think if I had to pick one, that would be it.
All right, perfect, perfect. That's a good one. That's a good one, Mike. What do you got?
Yeah, this is probably going to seem so trivial to both of you, but I was telling my wife when this scene came on, I was rewatching it at the dance. You could almost miss it. It only took a second. When George McFly is looking up at Marty when he's on the stage playing with a band, and George throws up his hand as if to say, all is right with the world. Like he's got the girl. And I think their interaction actually should have ended there, but they do see each other for another minute or two in 1955 before Marty takes off. I will give an honorable mention, and I was surprised neither of you had this as a favorite part, but maybe it's just me. I thought everybody is like, "Oh, my favorite part is when George McFly finally stands up for himself." He's I think what Biff's got him in an arm bar or something, and he turns around and breaks Biff's jaw or knocks him out, whatever, because that was like the turning point in George McFly's life.
Yeah,
So I'll
yeah.
give an honorable mention to
All
that.
right, all right. So, very good. I've got a different one. I've got and I call this the bell tower professor scream when they're waiting for the lightning to come, and the thing becomes unplugged up at the top.
Yeah.
And the doctor is like, "Oh my God, Marty's coming! I got to go up there and plug this thing in."
Hmm.
And then the tree falls, and he plugs it in, and then he realized it became unplugged at the bottom, and he just looks and screams, "Ah!" And like he knows he's got to get down there quick because Marty's coming, right?
Yeah.
Um, love that part. It like suddenly it puts you like on your seat's edge, and you're like, "Oh my God, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it?" So that is a great part. And again, that's Lloyd doing his thing, being Lloyd. So I'll give an honorable mention to the Ronald Reagan mention when Lloyd says, "Who's president in 1985?" And Marty says, "Ronald Reagan," and he laughs at him. He's like, "What? This guy's
Yeah.
an actor!" Like so. And another honorable mention I want to give when
Hmm.
she calls him when Leah Thompson calls him Calvin in his bedroom. Now, something I noticed when I watched it this time, like, okay, he gets hit by the car, he gets
Yeah.
taken upstairs in their room, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's hurt, he's knocked out or whatever." They lay him in the bed. Now there is no reason for his pants to be off. My
Hmm.
belief is that she took his pants off, and they're circumventing that, like they're not making it clear. But I watched it
Right.
this time, and I said, "What?" I said, "She took his pants off and was looking at him in his underwear when he was knocked out."
Oh yeah.
So did you all know that, or is it that just became apparent to me this time watching it?
I mean, I haven't thought it too deeply through. I would say I'm aware that like there's no reason for his pants to be off.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, she's just a little bit of a horn dog, I
yeah.
Oh
guess.
yeah.
Because otherwise, what? Or are we supposed to believe his mom put him up there? Let this man rest. Let's take his pants off. No,
Right.
it was her. So yeah, she's a little troublesome person there. So yeah, good scenes. All of them with the bell tower scream, best for me. So least favorite part or stupidest scene. I'm gonna have Mike go first because I'm gonna get Kristen some time to think of something because she thinks they're all perfect. But
Sure. For me, and this is going to sound a little strange because one of my favorite things about the movie was Leah Thompson, was the way that she was playing like three different ways throughout the movie, depending upon what part of the timeline you were in. Um, Probably the scenes, and these weren't stupid, but may be my least favorite part was just those scenes where she was getting turned on by being around her future son. And again, I'm conflicted. She did a great job with the role. But those are the scenes I don't think anyone wants to think too deeply about. Like, okay, let's just move past this. I got the message. Keep going.
okay, I get it. I get it. Kristen, what do you got?
But admittedly, this one is hard for me.
Oh,
Um, when I was trying to think of not maybe not least favorite part, but we talk about you have to suspend belief in really what's going on here.
Right.
And we can do that when we really enjoy a movie.
yep.
So if I decided to not suspend my belief in what's going on, um, at the end, the whole sequence where Doc's up on the tower, we got to plug the thing in. Marty's
Mhm.
over with the car, we've got the alarm going. Just the if I had to think deeply about it, which I don't like to do when I watch most movies because I just want to enjoy it and move on.
Right.
Um, as I was watching it last night, I was really paying attention. And, when Doc is still up on the tower, he sees the headlights down
Hmm.
the road.
Hmm.
And if he's going almost, 80 miles an hour, there's no way he's getting all the way down and plugging the thing in.
Okay.
And then just the idea of the lightning striking, we know it strikes at that time because the clock stopped, but you got 60 seconds, 60-second window, and we're going to time this exactly. So, um, if I'm thinking super deep about it, then yes, there's parts of that that just, won't really pass the test. But that doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it all anyway.
Okay. So
Sure.
so Kristen's worst part, her least favorite part is my favorite part. So there we
Hmm.
go. All right,
Yeah.
we're polar opposites here.
Yeah. We're all looking for different things from our movies.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
listen, my least favorite part is the peeping Tom thing, where George, I think it's a thumb down. He could have been doing anything else. Why do they have him get in a tree and he's
Hmm.
looking at some woman from the tree? Um,
Future serial killer.
yeah, like
Yeah.
this is weird. He could have just been riding his bike and crossing the street and suddenly gets hit. And that would have, but they had to have that
Hmm.
dark part of him. Like he's that much, not only is he a nerd, he's getting pushed around by Biff, but he's like dirty minded. So
Yeah.
I
Crispin
don't,
Glover probably came up with that scene.
it's possible, but I just thought he could have been doing anything else, and we didn't have to make him a peeping tom, because that makes me not like him from the start. I'm like, okay, I know we're
Hmm.
pulling for this guy, and this guy finally stands up for himself, but I'm thinking I don't like this type of person who's doing that type of thing. So
Yeah.
whatever. But so that's my least favorite. I would give a dishonorable mention to Marty singing the song at the dance. That is not his voice. His voice would never
Hmm.
sound like that. Don't like it. Thumbs down on that for me, but it is what
Ooh,
it is.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
All right, there you go. There
I
you go.
I love that scene.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I agree with you, Kristen. I would love it to be sound more like his voice, but I love the idea of that scene, and I love the idea of him introducing basically rock and roll, a Chuck Berry song. But then he, of course, goes too far, and he goes into '80s metal and things just like, okay, too much.
This
Yeah,
this comment this comment from the guy who loves the vacuum scene in Mr. Mom. Come on.
That is correct.
I mean the scene doesn't even need to exist because he had places to be.
Hmm.
So I love that they included it at all.
Yeah,
All right.
and to your point, Kristen, have either one of you seen Hot Tub Time Machine?
No.
A
Okay.
long time ago.
Yeah, if you like that, Kristen, you will appreciate, or if you've seen it, you appreciate. I love the idea, and I think all of us have thought of it at some time. It's like, man, if I could go back and know what I know now, the things that you could do, the things that you know, the things you understand. And Michael J. Fox, he was ahead of his time in that scene.
All right. All right. All right. Y'all don't like my stuff. That's good. That's fine. That's fine. I'm good
Aw.
with it. I'm good with it. Okay. So what additional comments do we have? Anything we haven't discussed? We talked about the characters. We talked best scenes, worst scenes. What do you got, Kristen? Besides, I know you're full. I don't want you to read the whole book to us, but I know you're full of trivia from reading this book. What's the book called again for those in case they didn't hear it when you first said it?
It's called Future Boy.
Future Boy. All right.
hmm
So additional
it's
comments?
very I mean the book itself is just very focused on the filming of this movie,
Okay.
and that's all it talks about. So you get a little bit of behind the scenes. So talking about the Johnny Be Good scene, he practiced that nonstop before they filmed it because he wanted to be believable playing the guitar because he played the guitar in real life, but he wanted to make sure that he was getting the keys right, all the things, all the chords, everything. So there was a lot of preparation that went into into that scene in the movie. Um, I've just finished this book like 2 days ago. It's all there, but it was really good, and I think we pretty much hit everything about the movie. Like I said, I enjoy the whole movie. So
Okay. Okay. The super fan speaks. Mike, additional comments?
Yeah. No, I was just thinking we talked about Huey Lewis a while ago, and Huey Lewis did what, two songs at least for this movie, I
he
believe.
he was also in the movie.
That's right. He was. A great point, Kristen. He was the he was a judge at the beginning for the
Mhm.
talent show, whatever, and he said, what, son, you're just too darn loud.
Yes,
Yeah,
playing
I
his own
love that.
music. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like Huey Lewis, but Huey Lewis for me is one of those artists where I put him in the same category as like Billy Joel, Phil Collins, Huey Lewis. They've got equal parts. I love half of what they come out with, and half I'm not as big a fan of. So just like this movie, I loved one of the songs. I think "Back in Time,"
Okay.
and
Mhm.
the other song I was not a huge fan of.
That and the other song was the big one, the
Right.
top.
The other song was sort of the theme of the movie.
It's the
I
award-winning
was,
one.
yeah, I wasn't on fire about that. Um, to Kristen's point, Kristen's read the book. There is a documentary on at least Amazon Prime about the making of the movie. There is a fan site, backtothefuture.com, has everything from events, merch, bios of all the actors, a little bit of everything celebrating Back to the Future, including last year's 40th anniversary of the film. So this, I can see why Kristen loves it so much. It's a great movie, but it's a cultural phenomenon. Like some people have really integrated this into their lives. Some people have collected the automobiles. I think John DeLorean wasn't he the creator of the DeLorean? And I don't remember his full story, but I know he was mixed up with cocaine at the same
Yeah.
time. He was coming up with this car, and the car itself was kind of a dud back in the day. But I think we can all agree, hey, if somebody gave me a DeLorean, I would absolutely take it because it's a smooth looking vehicle. Um, the last thing I will say, and maybe we touched on it, maybe we didn't. You got to love seeing a young Billy Zane uh,
Yep.
in the group of buddies that Biff has. So he had a big bright future. He was in Tombstone. He was in Titanic. He was in one of those Tales from the Crypt movies.
Yep. 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 So yeah, what was interesting to me in reading up a little bit about this project was rejected 40 times before Spielberg took it on.
Mm,
40 times. I mean, that's like the fact that you even know that number, right? That
sure.
that you keep count of that many rejections. But um and they had to spend once they said Stoltz just isn't working out, it cost them 4 million to reshoot the scenes that when Fox came on board. So they really were invested in Fox. Um, I want to call out James Tolkien.
Hmm.
He's the principal. He is the captain of the original ship on Top Gun. I love him on Top Gun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then our buddy Courtney Gaines from Can't Buy Me Love. Remember, he was the best friend, the redheaded kid. He's the one who cut in on Michael J. Fox in the dance.
And you
Uh,
pointed that out to me when we did Can't Buy Me Love.
yep.
You nailed it. I completely forgot it. I did not remember him being in this movie. So yeah, that was neat to see him in that.
Yeah, Courtney was also in Colors. He's in The Burbs, one of my favorites.
Well,
So
if you don't mind me
yeah,
cutting in, that may be one of my least favorite scenes. I just thought it was so strange. Like this guy out of nowhere we've never seen before cuts in on George and the way he's dancing with her, like what's going on? And
yeah.
she seems to have quite a backbone, so she can't just shove him away. I don't know. That was very strange for
Me
me.
too. I agree with you because like he had just knocked out Biff in the
Yep.
parking
Yeah,
lot,
Hey,
and
you're
then
the
yeah.
man.
now he lets this guy get in the way. This so now Courtney, we did see because as I watched it, I noticed him some earlier in the high school when McFly's like getting the
Yeah.
sign put on his back or whatever. Courtney's one of those kids picking on him in there too. So
Yeah.
he's just like a school jackass or whatever. But yeah, I don't like that part either. That's a good call, Kristen, because yeah, that's like why wouldn't he just push that kid down after you
Well,
just
why
beat up?
didn't she push him away? Like
Yeah,
she has no problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and he's clearly like he's acting like he's drunk, he's ripped drunk, and he's just like, yeah, I'm grabbing this girl to
Yeah, and
dance
they're
with.
like,
Like,
yeah,
um,
I didn't like that part.
no,
Hmm.
me neither. Now there were um, two sequels, Back to the Future 2 and 3. I can say this: I've never seen either of them all the way through from start to finish. How about y'all?
I have.
Yeah, I have too. Kristen, being a super fan, may remember a lot more about the plots. I remember one of them was a Western,
Yep.
and the other one is kind of it's set in the future, right, Kristen? Was that number two?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And I
Okay.
remember in the Western, wasn't his name Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your name, boy? Eastwood. Clint
Yeah.
Eastwood. Yeah.
All right. All right. So you guys are telling me that they're worth watching or no?
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing, and I think Kristen will agree. It's like so many things. I'd say 90% of movies, nothing is ever as good as the original, but they do enough different. When you say Kristen,
Yeah, and this isn't it's not a popular opinion, I feel like, when I've talked to people about this, but I almost think I prefer the second one. I think the second one may be my favorite,
oh
but that's
wow.
simply because they go to the future, so you get to see that dynamic. They include a lot of scenes from 1955 because of where the plot takes them. So you get a lot of the parts of the first one with the
Mhm.
new stuff with the future. So I'm not missing out on the first one because I see parts of it in it. So
Sure.
the third was always my least favorite. There's plot points in there that I've not really enjoyed, but I've come to just accept it because I like the whole franchise. So I'm not going to get upset about it, and I watch it because I do enjoy different parts of it. It's very entertaining, and there's parts that I'm not thrilled about with the storyline, but at the end of the day, I still enjoy them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Being like a science fiction comedy to me, uh, sometimes with these time machine things, like it's a comedy. I want to laugh, but now you're making me really think about how this is. I remember like the third one, the parts I've seen. The third one's the one with the Wild West, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
It, I remember having to think so hard of, wait, how did this happen? Like they're going back and forth. I just thought it was confusing a little bit. And again, it's even more confusing because I didn't see the whole thing all the way through. So,
Yeah,
um,
that would help.
Yeah.
yeah, I get you. I hear you. All right. So the message, the lesson, the moral of the story. Kristen, Mike, and I always say, like, if you have a movie or a book you're reading or anything, if there's no message or lesson or moral to it, why the heck are we even watching it? Why are we into this? So, what do you have for this, Kristen?
Well, I would argue for pure entertainment. But
Okay.
um I don't know. I was having a tough time with this, trying to figure out what I thought it might be, because he goes back to the past by accident. So he never does it on purpose to do anything to change anything. And then he accidentally screws up the meeting of his parents, so he has to fix it. So again, he's not even back to change anything to make his life better, is inadvertent.
Okay.
Um, so to say that when he got back to his present time, that he did benefit, obviously, but it wasn't that he sought out to do so.
Okay.
Um, but I think at the end of the day, if you look overall, not at his path through it, but you see the themes going through that, the bullies aren't always going to win. If you can stand up for yourself and have confidence, good things will happen to you. So I think that kind of plays out through the film.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty good. Pretty solid. Mike, what do you got?
All right. I always go a little bit sideways and weird with these.
Yes, I do.
So I was thinking about it, and bear with me, but in a broad sense, we are all our own Marty McFly. And what I mean by that is, of course, nobody is traveling from the future to help us correct our decisions, but every decision we make today, good and bad, is going to affect how and where the older version of us ends up. And I think, and the reason it came to me because I remember reading a quote and I had to look up who wrote the quote, but it always really resonated with me. It was William Wordsworth who said it much better, and he wrote, "The child is the father of the man," and essentially. What we're doing today, we're taking care of or we're tearing down that future self that's depending on us to get them where they need to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mike gets philosophical. Very good. So yeah, same sort of thing for me. We've talked about this, Mike. Life is all about decisions, right? This is what I take from it. And 1 degree change, you could be on the East Coast of the United States and have a boat pointed in one direction. If
Yeah.
you go if you go straight across, you're going to hit Europe. If you go 1 degree to the right, by the time you're across the ocean, you might be in Africa, right? So
Yeah.
one small decision can change your whole life and can create a totally different destination. So I think it's an illustration of, hey, make your decisions wisely. Try to really think through things. Don't just because I feel like this today. Like think of the future, right? Think of what could happen, and you're right, Mike. The to think about, you're either hurting or helping your future self with every decision that you make. So pretty good, pretty good. I like
Mhm.
Kristen's message about like, and that comes through. Really, I didn't think about that, Kristen, where you're like,
Mhm.
um, you know, be confident. Like, look what happened to George when he was confident. He stood up for himself, and then suddenly he's an author and he's successful, right? Because he just took that through life, and he lived his life that way after that point, except for the stupid cut in on the dance, right? I
Yeah.
don't know what that's about, but if you get rid of that part, like, hey, that's really key, I think. So
Yeah.
so
Great point.
and that's the same thing though as, hey, um like Kristen, to her point and to your point, mixed up together, like, you're confident, you make decisions and take care of yourself, you're making the person you are in the future, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, and they had that parallel with Marty at the beginning when his band wasn't chosen for the dance or talent show or whatever it was. And Jennifer was pushing him to send in his tape. And he's like, what if they don't like it? I couldn't take that kind of rejection.
Mhm.
And then they parallel that with George when he's talking about his science fiction writing. No one's allowed to read it, and he can't ask Lorraine out because what if she says no? I can't take that rejection. So
yeah,
um, the Johnny B. Good scene becomes really important because at the beginning he's afraid he's never going to play in front of anyone again. He doesn't have the confidence to really do so, and then he really excels at it at that dance at the end with Johnny B. Good. So the building of the confidence, I feel like, happens throughout, and it then shows what that does for you in future if you
yeah,
can maintain that confidence.
yeah,
Kristen, that is a great point, and I completely missed those parallels. So no, I appreciate that.
yeah, that's good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, so now that a couple of you just watched it yesterday, it sounds like, right? I watched it
Yeah.
about a week or so ago. So um take on it now, and recommendation. The recommendation is like, hey, definitely, if you haven't, you should watch this movie. Or hey, if you have this VCR tape sitting on your couch, throw it in the trash. What do you think? What's your take on it now, Mike?
Yeah. Like so many of the movies we watch, sometimes my current take is the complete opposite of where I was when I was a kid. I'd say right now I probably like it more now than when I first saw it, not only for the nostalgia, and I think I can appreciate more parts of the story because as you get older, I mean, because I saw it first around the time when I was probably around Marty's age, maybe a little bit younger, and I would definitely say if you haven't watched it, you should see it. The sequels are cute. Um, to me, I do love the original the most. I understand where Kristen is coming from, but this one, particularly for me, uh, I definitely say see it, and it would be good for the whole family. Just hide their eyes on those mom and Marty scenes.
All right, very good. Kristen, what do you say?
I think anyone should watch it. It's entertaining. My children are younger and they have seen this movie several times. It normally it's on TV, so when we were watching it last night, um, not a televised broadcast, there's a lot more swear words than I remember there being.
Okay.
Um, but that's fine. My kids love it. So it's one of those movies from my childhood that I feel like they can watch and it's not a kid movie, so like we can all watch it. I just find it to be a very entertaining story. And again, I think the characters are hilarious and just the way that they interact with each other is always entertaining. So I would encourage anybody who hasn't seen it to give it a try.
All right, very good, very good. Now, I have in my notes here, like, hey, it's entertaining and really funny. So if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. But after y'all were talking about the moral and the lesson you take from it with the being confidence and like building your future self and what the future can bring. I definitely think you should watch it. Anyone who hasn't seen it should watch it. Definitely for that, for the message as well as being entertaining and funny. So definitely watch it. Um, I didn't know I owned the DVD, but because I was when I was getting ready to watch this, I one of my sons was home from break for college from college, and I said, "Hey, do we own this?" He's like, "Yeah, we own it. Of course we do.
Hmm.
In fact, we own the 3 pack. Like that's all 3 DVDs." So, um,
You
Now you
have no
have no
excuse.
excuse.
yeah, I know. Let's see. All right, we're gonna give this thing a rating, and just it's like 5 tier rating. Worst rating, Kristen, is bathroom break. You don't even need to be in a room when it's playing. Second rating is no snacks. You could probably just scroll through your phone or read a book or something when it's on. Um, so that's like bathroom break is a terrible movie. No snacks is below average. Our average movie is a Coke, right? So you could sip a Coke, watch the movie. A little bit above average, a Coke and popcorn. And for that best movie, top tier, a Coke popcorn and a box of your favorite movie candy. My favorite movie candy is Raisinets that you get at the theater. What's yours, Kristen?
Reese's Pieces, probably.
Oh, Reese's Pieces. All right, very good, very good. So we're gonna let Mike go. We're gonna give Kristen plus because I think I know what she's gonna say. We're gonna do her last, but
Hmm.
we're gonna let Mike go next. Well, or go first. What's your rating on this one?
Yeah, you know what? Since we're back in the 50s, I think we're going to stop by what Arnold's on Happy Days. I'm
Oh,
going to sneak a cherry Coke malt, a double burger, and a chocolate shake in the theater with me. To me, I love the nostalgia. I think it's a great movie. I'm probably not super fan status, but I wouldn't change a whole lot about it. I really struggled to find things I didn't like about the movie when we were talking about what was your least favorite part, dumbest scene, whatever.
yeah.
I really enjoy watching it.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna go second here. I'm gonna give this. And you said Arnold's. That makes me think of Pat Morita, right? He was
That's
on that,
right.
wasn't that was him, right?
Yeah.
I just saw an episode of MASH on MeTV the other day, and Pat Morita was in with the guys playing poker. So, and you're right in that one. He has no accent at all. The whole Mr. Miyagi accent is totally
Yeah,
fake. He
exactly.
speaks like just an American guy, right? So,
Hmm.
um, I'm going to give this one. I thought it's entertaining. It's got a good message. I'm going to give this a Coke and popcorn. So above average film.
Not bad.
Um, what do you got, Kristen?
As a surprise to nobody, I think the whole shebang. I think anybody should watch it. You're gonna enjoy it. I don't like Coke, so maybe like a lemonade
Okay.
Hmm.
and some popcorn and some Reese's, and I'm hunkering down and I'm watching it.
All right. Especially we've got snow coming down outside as we're doing this recording. So it's a
Right.
perfect, when you say hunkering down, it's a perfect um, way to describe what everyone's going to be doing after we get off here, right? Probably. So,
Sure.
um, all right. So it looks like we wrapped that one up. I think everyone said, so Mike, now you went all the way
I
as well.
did.
Okay. You did too. So,
Hey,
hey,
Steve,
yeah.
I've got to say, this was a family movie with a little bit of everything you'd want in an 80s, I'll say 80s family movie. We had terrorists, violence, drinking, smoking, profanity, even some light incest. There was nothing missing from this movie.
Don't forget the sexual assault.
Exactly. I
Sexual
wasn't even
assault.
going to bring it up. Thank you, Kristen.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And I don't think there's any drug use in it, but you know,
Yeah.
that's a little strange
When
for
the
the
band
80s.
is in the
Oh
when the
no, there
band is in
was.
the
You're right.
car,
Yep.
Yep.
they
I
say we don't
forgot
want to mess
drug
with no
use.
Yep.
reefer addicts.
Yep. That's right. You're right. There was drug use. So it's a
Absolutely. There was
total
nothing missing.
well-rounded 80s movie, right? There you go.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we wrapped that one up pretty good. So everybody, thanks for listening to Gonzo, Mike, and a VCR. We'd like to thank Kristen for being here. So, Kristen, thanks a lot. Glad that you were super fan for this movie.
Absolutely.
So, you got any parting words for us, Kristen?
Words of wisdom.
I'm glad to be here. Glad you guys, convinced me to come on. It gave me a deadline to finish my book, so I was really entertained doing that. I got to watch the movie last night. It was a nice, evening to watch a movie because before all the snow hit. So Thanks for having me.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So everybody, if you enjoyed it, please follow or subscribe. We'd appreciate it. And if you'd share the show with a fellow movie lover, that'd be great too. If you have a movie you'd like us to watch, or maybe you're a super fan like Kristen and you want to be a guest on the show, or maybe you just have a comment, or even if you'd like to tell us what your favorite band was in the 80s. I don't know if I want to hear Mike's because it'll upset me probably.
Maybe it's Van Halen with David Lee Roth.
Okay, I can get into that. So
Yeah.
if you want to do any of those things, shoot us an email at gonzomikevcr@gmail.com. That's gonzomikevcr@gmail.com. I'm checking that once daily for you, Michael. Additionally, leave us some comments on your platform, Spotify, Apple. We're on YouTube. There's you can thumbs up or comment on that too. We'll do our best to respond to those. There's some polls on Spotify, so let us know your thoughts. And again, if you've got a friend who loves movies, share the show with them so you can both listen and discuss, even if you disagree with us, right? So now, in our next episode, Michael, we have a Gonzo pick from 1989.
Very exciting.
This is Tom Hanks back in the day when he was still into comedy, right? It's my favorite comedy horror. Tell them what it is, Mike.
Gonzo, I honestly could not be more excited about this one. We've been doing the podcast for a few months now. This is the first movie. I have never seen this movie. I have heard about it. I know who's in it. Like you say, it's a Tom Hanks movie, The Burbs.
Yeah, that's right. It's a great movie. I'm going to enjoy it. I own that DVD as well. So I'm looking forward to that one. All right, folks. Well, that's a wrap. I'm Gonzo.
I'm Mike.
Until next time, keep watching movies. Gonzo, Mike, and VCR is produced by Gonzo and Mike. All rights reserved.